this notion that you're from the coast, you don't understand those things. You can't talk the language. You're not able to communicate. And you're not able to actually encourage and find that common ground.
No, it's stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about. And this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So do you think that's silly? Do you think that's a silly thing that we too much government there?
Bill Maher left the audience stunned during a fiery live exchange with California Governor Gavin Newsom, tearing into progressive policies and demanding real accountability. What began as a routine interview quickly escalated into a brutal reality. Maher didn't hold back, going straight for the jugular as he exposed contradiction after contradiction. While Newsom scrambled to defend himself, Maher pressed hard on issues like crime, homelessness, and economic decline, refusing to let half answers slide. Gasps rippled through the audience, and moments of dead silence followed as Maher cut through the woke spin and forced Newsom to confront uncomfortable truths. This wasn't a softball segment, it was a full-on showdown. With Maher making it clear that not even liberal favorites get a free pass anymore. The message was unmistakable. The era of dodging consequences with polished rhetoric is over.
No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but now this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you can win. What do you say to that if you could win look at the swing states, there's only 8 of them.
Right. Well, I mean, California is an interesting case study, isn't it? It's the size of 21 state populations combined.
Yeah.
2/3 of the state is very deeply red. We don't need to be lectured on rural politics or border issues. I mean, in so many ways, these are familiar issues, and the issues of the heartland of the United States are very much a part and parcel of the work we're doing in this state. But look,
it says everything about today's media landscape that it takes someone like Bill Maher to actually confront Gavin Newsom with real questions. Let's be honest, if Newsom were sitting on a show like The View, he'd be treated like royalty, showered with applause and fed softball talking points. But Maher flipped the script. He cornered Newsom and exposed the polished politician act for what it truly is: empty spin and dodging tactics. To anyone paying attention, this was a masterclass in political deflection. Newsom didn't give real answers, he danced around them, reframing facts and spinning narratives like a seasoned performer. Yet Maher kept pressing, and under that pressure, the illusion began to crack. This wasn't about partisanship, it was about reality. And what it revealed was that when forced off script, Newsom's performance had very little substance left to stand on.
Look, that's an interesting one, because the department stores came to us supporting that. And they're the ones making a case for that. They were making a case, they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they've supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know what the top priorities are: homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues related to regulation and taxes, which are all top of mind. But I get how those things,
All right. So, one, I got you here, because I live here and I'm not going anywhere. So I just want to make this a better state like everybody else.
Man.
And good job this year making it rain.
You're welcome.
That was my legislative priority.
It was looking bad there for a while, and we still don't have enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff.
Yeah.
One of the most revealing moments of the entire exchange wasn't in the words themselves, but in the silence that followed. As Bill Maher, the room grew tense, so heavy it could be cut with a knife. The audience, usually quick to cheer, sat frozen in uncomfortable stillness, kept pressing for real answers. But when Newsom finally responded, it was nothing more than political filler, vague phrases and hollow slogans that left everyone wondering what he was actually saying. This wasn't just deflection, it was avoidance wrapped in rhetoric. And yet, after his rambling non-answer, the audience still broke into applause as if it were profound. That moment spoke volumes. It showed just how deep the ideological bias runs. Maher deserves credit for piercing that echo chamber, even if only for a brief moment.
Whenever I read 80% of the water goes to agriculture. Almonds. No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds. We grow a boatload of
I'm
almonds
well
here.
aware.
You know what? You know how much water it takes?
Many gallons.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Come on, man. Take on big almonds.
Take on big almonds.
I mean, it's not like we don't have the water. No.
You're right about it. It's not that we don't have the water. That said, the last couple of years were tough. I mean, but it's also where the water's falling and we're not capturing it. And we're not capturing those extreme years with these atmospheric rivers. Wets are getting a lot wetter, dry's drier, hot's getting a lot hotter. And so we've got to modernize our conveyance system. We've got to modernize our storage, not just above ground, but below ground. And so that's a big part of our focus and frame, including desalinization plants. We have 20 projects just on desal that we're working on today. So we put out a detailed water strategy that includes, by the way, getting that Delta Conveyance project back up and operational, and includes the first above ground off stream storage facility in half a century in the state, which, by the way, is being aided by a regulatory package I pushed forward to reduce red tape in the state of California and address the permitting quagmires that you rightfully pointed out.
Say here.
You're good at this.
What?
I'm telling you, you're good at this job. Okay, but here's I feel like the last couple of years you've purposely picked this fight with the red states. I mean, the DeSantis. Yeah, but I don't want to live in the Civil War.
I agree with that.
You know what?
Well,
but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, this is a blue state and that's a red state. Yeah. And I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. It's been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just.
It was classic politician behavior on entire speech filled with words but no real substance. Yet it was Bill Maher who cut through the noise and raised the issue that actually matters: California's water crisis. A problem hitting the state harder than ever. When pressed for answers, Gavin Newsom defaulted to the oldest trick in the book: blame climate change. Maher wasn't buying it. He even cracked a joke about moving almond farming to Maine. As silly as it sounded, the joke had a point. Why is California diverting massive amounts of water to almonds while suffering from severe shortages and droughts? But instead of addressing the concern, Newsom dodged, recycling the same tired script politicians lean on when cornered. And rightfully so. This wasn't just about almonds, it was about accountability. And once again, chose deflection over solutions. If you're tired of watching real problems get buried under rehearsed sound bites, then stick around because the real talk is just getting started.